Before I start anything, this video is not the place if you're looking for answer. In fact, this video is a call for help. Explain me. If you know anything, explain me. As you know, Genshin Impact new web event dropped and the whole community is in shamble. They fucking dropped this. So this is the new web event. It talks about these three moons. Everyone knows about the story of the three moon sister. That's basic knowledge. There were three moon sister. Fucking shit happened. Two of them died. There isn't much lore about three moon sister except for that the three moon sister were the audience in Traveler and Seely's union. So there was a Traveler and there was a Seely. They fell in love. They had a fucking whole ceremony of union, and three moon sister were like kind of like audience there, and from there everything went down because Traveler and Seely were cursed to forget each other for all of eternity. The whole Seely race got fucked. They were reduced to the Seelys we see today, and fucking three moon sister, two of them died, only one surviving. So this whole event is talking about moons and shit, like trinity of moon goddess who once steered the primordial celestial sphere, wove love and passion into the heart of the world, have long since faded into the shadow of time. So this is obviously talking about the basic stuff. There were three moon sister, two of them died, one have survived. Now it's talking about all of them have faded, but I'm pretty sure one survived, and there are theories around Paimon being related to the moon sisters and all that, or Paimon being the surviving moon sister. Yet those who follow the tides still sing and pray for a new moon is set to rise. Now this is the whole theme of this event, that a new moon is coming, prophecies unveiled, a new moon is set to rise. Now this is where it gets confusing, like which moon is set to rise they're talking about. When we talk about moon in Genshin Impact, you literally cannot skip the Crimson Moon, the fucking big daddy of the moons. It's everywhere. Crimson Moon is everywhere. There is Crimson Moon Dynasty, and there is like, I'll let you know who belongs to Crimson Moon Dynasty. If you don't know, Crimson Moon Dynasty was the first dynasty to rule over Khanria 1,000 years ago. They were even before the Black Sun or Eclipse Dynasty, as we all know. Basically, they used to pray to Crimson Moon as their god. The priest told the king of Khanria about Crimson Moon. So king of Khanria took the Crimson Moon name for his own dynasty. Just read the Ardechino's weapon description. If you have Ardechino's weapon, just read the description and you will know the whole lore. And they used to pray to Crimson Moon as their god when they needed their god the most. So Crimson Moon didn't reply at all. Anyway, continuing with this event, it's like when the eternal moon fell, the heavens and earth were thrown into chaos. Now this is probably talking about the ancient moon. This eternal moon is most likely the ancient moon which we see in the Nadeland Arc quest when Mavica used her attack to destroy the sky, and then we see the crumbles, and in the end of Arcan Quest Act 5, Mavica explained that those were the remnants of ancient moon. Probably that's the eternal moon they're talking about, and it's talking about how that moon got destroyed and fucking whole Teviath got fucked. And moving on is talking about iridescent moons shattered, the crimson shadows sank into the abyssal sea. This is talking about the second moon sister. So you got the first, probably the eternal moon was the first moon sister, and iridescent moon is the second moon sister who died. Like iridescent moon shattered, the crimson shadows sank into the abyssal sea. Most likely talking about crimson moon. Again, people can only make theories about it. There is no confirmed canon knowledge about what the fuck this whole stuff is talking about. When the frost moon ceased to turn, nation faltered and fell into the ruin. So this must be the surviving moon sister. When the frost moon ceased to turn, it's not saying how frost moon got destroyed. You can see it's talking about the first moon, eternal moon fell. That's the first moon sister who died. Then iridescent moons shattered. There's a second moon sister who died. There is no talking about the frost moon being died. It's just like frost moon ceased to turn, like frost moon stopped moving, and it's frost moon which we see in Genshin Impact. I'm pretty sure in Genshin Impact's so-called fake sky. Beneath the shadow of the moonlight, something stirs, unseen yet inevitable. So I don't know what this whole thing is talking about. Beneath this moonlight, like people of moonlit world, please await the turning of the moon, for it will bring new revelations. Now they're doing this whole moon thing just before Node Krai, so I think we'll be getting some lore on moon or moon sisters in Node Krai, because in the latest live stream they talk about the new artifact set which will give us the lore of light keepers who fight abyss in Node Krai. So light keepers are these group of peoples who fight the abyss. Now from their name, light keepers, we can guess that they use the power of light or some shit. Maybe these so-called light keepers, they got their power from moons or some shit. Like the fact that they dropped this whole moon related event before Node Krai is about to come, which means most likely Node Krai will be heavily focused on moon, because again we are going to Node Krai to find about the ancient moon remnants. Arcan Quest Act 5 ended with Mavica telling us about the ancient moon fragments in the sky. You can also see ancient moon fragments in the sky. We are going to Node Krai in search of this like to get some knowledge on this ancient moon fragment. So it will make sense for Node Karai Argon Quest to be circling around moon stuff. That's why they dropped this whole event. Please await the turning of the moon, for it will bring new revelations. Now this turning of moon is pretty interesting because it did say that frost moon stopped turning, and frost moon is, I'm pretty sure, the moon we see in the sky of Tevya. It says here that frost moon ceased to turn, and I'm pretty sure frost moon is this moon, I'm pretty sure, which we see in Tevyat's sky. So, and the last line is talking about please wait for moon to turn. So I think there will be some connection here. I can't make the connection because I'm not fucking balls deep in Genshin Impact lore. There will be some people out there who are making theories, but I don't make theories. I make statements and they come true. I don't need to explain my statements. I just read the story. I'm like, this gonna happen and this happens. For example, when Act 3 of Archon Quest, I said Capitano is Lord of the Night, and he wasn't Lord of the Night at the moment, but Act 5 when Archon Quest ended, Capitano was fused with Lord of the Night. Guess what? So technically he is Lord of the Night now. So I just say things and it comes true. Now I'm curious where like Crimson Moon plays the part in all this. Like, what is Crimson Moon? How does it fit into these three moon stories? Like, is like Crimson Moon the real moon of Tevyat? Did Crimson Moon had beef with Celestia or some shit? It says here how Crimson Shadow fell into the abyss. Like when Edison Moon shattered, the Crimson Shadow sank into the abyssal sea. So it's kind of implying that these moons were connected to the Crimson Moon. Or Crimson Moon is just like the bad side of the moon. Like it's the moon, but in the abyss, it's like the bad side of the Moon Sisters. Because it did say that how Crimson Moon was the shadow of the Edison Moon, and when Edison Moon shattered, Crimson Moon fell into the sea of abyss. Like 100% Crimson Moon has its own god or goddess. Like as Genshin, it's very much likely goddess. Because like in Genshin, everything have a god, like the Eternity God, fucking Contract God. So why wouldn't fucking Crimson Moon have a god or goddess? First, I had this theory like Crimson Moon is the OG moon of Tevyat and the Three Moon Sister came after, but they're saying how Three Moon Sister steered the primordial sphere. Primordial, most likely Three Moon Sister were here since primordial times, aka Dragon times, which means most likely they were here even before Heavenly Principle invaded. Now this whole event is talking about prophecy, and the new Natlan boss also talks about prophecy. This whole prophecy is talking about a new moon rising. But why is an abyss monster looking forward to a new moon rising? It would only make sense if the so-called new moon is against Celestia, right? Bottom line is there were three moon sisters which were most likely here even before Celestia, and shit happened. We still don't know what happened. Two of them died. Eternal Moon and Iridescent Moon, they both died, leaving the Frost Moon behind. Now we also know the name of the three moon sister. There was Eternal Moon, there was Iridescent Moon, and then there was Frost Moon. Iridescent and Eternal Moon died and Frost Moon survived, but Frost Moon stopped turning. It stopped moving. Here we can see the moon moving, but most likely in Genshin Impact it doesn't. Also, the remnants Mavika talk about, the ancient moon remnants in Archon Quest Act 5, are also the remnants of these moons. And then it talks about a prophecy how a new moon is set to rise. The moon will start turning and a new moon will rise. Anyway, this was the whole video. I just want to talk about this new event and give some of my theories. Again, I'm really confused here, and if you know anything, feel free to share it in the comments. And yeah, till then, that's about it. See ya.